There's a study that most doctors never talk about, and honestly, when I first came across it, I had to read it twice, because what it suggests changes the way you think about something you do every single day. Researchers found that people with chronic gum inflammation had immune systems that were, and this is the term they used, perpetually activated. Not strong, not primed, exhausted, fighting a fire that never goes out. And here's the part that stopped me. Most of those people had no idea anything was wrong. No pain, no visible symptoms, just a slow, invisible drain on the one system your body depends on for literally everything else. So before we talk about flu shots, supplements, sleep routines, maybe the conversation needs to start somewhere a lot closer, somewhere most people completely overlook. Your mouth is home to over 700 species of bacteria. Most of them are beneficial, some are neutral, and a small number, when given the right conditions, become genuinely disruptive. According to the CDC, nearly 50% of American adults over 30 have some degree of periodontal disease, not cavities, gum disease, chronic inflammation in the tissue that surrounds your teeth, and what the research shows is that this inflammation doesn't stay local, it travels. A study published in the Journal of Periodontology found that individuals with untreated gum disease had significantly elevated levels of C-reactive protein, one of the primary biomarkers your doctor uses to measure systemic inflammation. The same inflammation linked to cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, and impaired immune response. The mechanism is straightforward. Bacteria from the mouth enter the bloodstream through inflamed gum tissue. Once in circulation, they trigger an immune response every day without stopping, and a chronically triggered immune system over time is not a resilient one. Now, and this is where it gets interesting, brushing and flossing are still important. Absolutely. But researchers are now asking a different question entirely. What if the goal isn't just to remove harmful bacteria, but to actively support the ones that are supposed to be there? Because your oral microbiome isn't just a passive collection of microorganisms, it's a living ecosystem. And like any ecosystem, what determines its health isn't only what you take out, it's what you cultivate. There are specific probiotic strains that have been studied for their presence in the oral environments of people with low inflammation markers. Strains that, when reintroduced, appear to compete with harmful bacteria for space and resources, shifting the balance rather than just temporarily clearing the surface. This is still an emerging area of research, but the direction is consistent enough that a number of companies have started building products specifically around it. If you're curious about what that looks like in practice, I've left something in the description worth looking at. No pressure, just worth knowing it exists. Now back to the science, because there's one more connection that most people don't know about, and it's arguably the most important one. Your oral microbiome and your gut microbiome are in constant communication. Research from the NIH and several independent institutions has found that harmful bacteria originating in the mouth can travel through the digestive tract and alter the composition of gut flora. And if you've followed anything about immune health in the last decade, you know that the gut is where somewhere between 70 and 80% of immune activity actually originates. So the chain looks like this: disrupted oral microbiome, systemic inflammation, altered gut flora, compromised immune regulation, 4 steps, all starting in your mouth. A study out of the University of Birmingham found that people with poor oral microbiome health had a measurably higher incidence of respiratory infections, including pneumonia, with oral bacteria being detected in lung tissue samples. The likely pathway: microaspiration during sleep. This isn't fringe science. This is the direction mainstream immunology research is moving. And it suggests something worth sitting with: that the $3 toothbrush in your bathroom might be more connected to your long-term health than almost anything else you own. So what do you do with all of this? The mechanical habits matter. Brushing, flossing, regular dental visits. That baseline is non-negotiable. But if you've been feeling like your immune system is just not quite where it used to be, getting run down more easily, taking longer to recover, catching things you feel like you shouldn't, it might be worth asking whether your oral health is part of that picture. And if you want to go beyond the basics, beyond what a toothbrush can do, and look at what supporting your oral microbiome from the inside might actually look like, I did leave a link in the description. It's a product called ProDentim. It's not a miracle. It's not going to replace good habits, but it's built around exactly the kind of science we've been talking about today, probiotic strains specifically studied in the context of oral microbiome health. And it's the kind of thing I think is worth at least understanding before you decide. The link is below. Take a look when you have a moment. Do your own research. Make your own call. That's all this is. One more piece of information to help you make a better decision for yourself.